Yo, what's happening, everybody? Just doing a little bit of an update here. I don't know what I want to cover. I did make mention in the first couple of videos back on a message that I said I would probably get together some sort of channel update video here within the next couple of days. This is my attempt at that. I don't really know what I want to cover. I want to give kind of a state of the games that are currently up there on the channel, what you can expect. There's a couple of things that are missing, a couple of things that are running. In fact, as this video gets released, I'm hoping that if everything works out well, ACU should be wrapping today with the finale. I did kind of touch upon in you know, prior to my absence here for that last little month, which I don't really want to get into. I mean, there were a couple of different factors at play. Needless to say, I will continue to do this for as long as I feel like I can, you know. But I saw all the support and lots of messages coming in from people, messages and comments from the regular viewers, the people who are usually most vocal around here. Really appreciate the support. I feel a little prickish because nobody really got replied to, and you know, a lot of the comments that did come in were from people who, because of their support, certainly deserved a little bit more than simply my silence. So I saw everything, all the comments that came in, and both during my absence and once I was back, and I certainly do appreciate it. You know, when I got back, I probably should have said something and replied to some of those comments, but there was a lot that was quite similar. I thought if I went down the list, it would get a little redundant, me just kind of repeating myself. And I knew I was going to do something like this and just kind of address you guys together collectively. You know, hopefully you'll all see it and you'll understand. But back to ACU here for a second. If everything goes well, this should be wrapping today. I was considering getting into the Dead Kings, that free Dead Kings DLC, and maybe even going a little bit deeper into the game beyond the main memory sequence, complete the rest of the pair of stories, maybe do some co-op with a friend, but I think all of that's just going to get scrapped, at least in the short term. You know, I may get into the Dead Kings DLC at some point down the road, but I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't hold my breath. I'm really happy to be done with that game, wash my hands with it.
And you think that will accomplish anything? In the wake of revolution, the order will adapt.
And, you know, because there was a lot of hassles in just trying to get that, a lot of headaches, a lot of technical struggles trying to get that game to run well and record and capture and make videos for YouTube. And beyond that, it's simply run its course. The game released back in November, and for a game like that, it should have been completed long ago. You know, I think it's been dragging here a little bit too long. The other game that's still running that we've seen most recently, Far Cry 4, is out there on the channel. Still a couple of weeks left with that. Getting back into that after being gone, I was excited. You know, where I was just looking forward to kind of closing the door on ACU. Far Cry 4 still brings me great enjoyment. I love getting into that game. It's a great game. It's my style of game. It's something that I really like, and I'm probably gonna run through all the activities, all the last of the work that needs to be done, outposts and towers, and you know, getting stuck by Yogi and Reggie and traveling to Shangri-La, and still gonna complete all the main quests, or all the entire main campaign, and get to Pagan. And so there's probably a couple of weeks, 2.5, maybe 3 weeks worth of episodes left to come with Far Cry 4, and then that will be done as well. Skyrim has been noticeably absent here, and I know that it's probably the most popular, you know, as game that I'm doing on the channel right now. So I don't want the people that have been tuning in for that. In fact, looking back and seeing the most recent videos that were released kind of prior to me disappearing there for the last 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, or whatever it was. You know, seeing those views having gone up, you know, it seems like, I don't know if maybe people were simply revisiting old content because there was a lack of new content. Maybe people were finally catching up to the to kind of the present day part of the series, or maybe it's just gaining a little popularity. Whatever the reason, it's nice to see those views going up. I mean, it's all relative. It's still not all that popular, right? But it's definitely, I think it's just turned into the most popular thing running on the channel right now, which is nice. So it's not here right now, mostly because I want to get through ACU and Far Cry 4 And well, GTA 5 is releasing with, well, whether it's today, tomorrow, the next couple of days. We're right there. We're on the doorstep of it for PC, of course, and I'm really looking forward to this game. It's going to play a large part. It's going to have a space here on the channel. There's probably, beyond just simply doing some sort of standard Let's Play that I do here, I think there's going to be a lot more that comes along with it, whether it be kind of individual short standalone videos of action, you know, maybe some. I'm not sure how I want to handle it. I don't know what the game really brings to the table, because I've basically ignored as much as I can about the game over the past year and a half, 2 years since the game released on the last gen consoles. I really wanted that surprise factor when it finally did arrive on PC. So I've been, you know, I'm pretty ignorant about what GTA 5 has to offer. I do know it has the video editor is shipping with this game, as it did with GTA 4. It seems like it's a little bit more refined now. I'm going to be excited to be using this, because this allows you to really give your vids a cinematic flair, and if it's not too time consuming, if it's not too hard to use, and if it's powerful enough, I'd like to bring a real cinematic flair. You know, it allows you control over the camera angles at any given time if you are recording gameplay using the video editor. You know, so we'll see how. I want to take a good look at it, see how useful it is. And see how time-consuming such a process could be, because I have made some videos in the past that aren't up here on the channel, were for another channel back in the day, several years ago, using the GTA 4 video editor, and it was pretty powerful then, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing what this one can do with this game. And you may see, you know, if I can do it, if I feel like it's not too time consuming, I may try and really start mixing the camera angles around, try and give it much more of a film or movie style look rather than that gaming look, you know. It all depends, though. I want to look at the first person view to see how good that may be, if I can run the game that way. The other thing I wanted, you know, I've been thinking about, considering lately, you know, I'm getting a little tired of, not tired, but I'm getting a little disappointed in the blind playthroughs that I produce here, you know. I'm thinking to myself, why am I still doing these blind playthroughs? When I first started this channel, and even in the build-up to preceding my first few videos and first few series that I did here, the idea was always to try and focus on the gameplay. You know, I'm a gamer. I'm not a gamer first and maybe an entertainer second. At least that's how I would like to look at it. I think a lot of people do show up here now. The people that do show up here, there's not a lot of people, but the people who do show up here like that mix of gameplay and commentary. I think that's probably the appeal around here. So there is definitely that entertainment value. But I thought, you know, for me as a gamer, the gamer side of me always says, go for the good gameplay. You know, if you can crack a few jokes and have some fun on the mic at the same time, then that's great. But I don't know why I got into this mindset where I felt like I needed to be doing these blind playthroughs, you know. I think part of it came from wanting to compete with the other channels, you know, what's being done out there and what's popular. A lot of these bigger channels, they pump out the series quickly at launch, and they have a high turnover rate for, you know, for their LPs. But I don't really follow that formula to begin with, so I'm wondering, why am I following it when it comes to the blind playthrough? You know, for those guys, if I were to start a series at the same time as those big YouTubers, I mean, they're done. They really just focus on getting from point A to point B, from the start of the game to the end of the game, without doing all that extra, you know, that stuff that just I love to do, right? That makes up the bulk of the story for me, that creates that unique experience, especially in open world games, you know. So I mean, I don't follow that. They're done within, if we all start at the same time, they're usually done after a few weeks, and I'm usually done after a few months, you know? That's usually the way it goes. So I wonder, why am I trying to compete with them when it comes to the blind playthrough as well? And I'm thinking, if I spend a little bit more time with these games prior to putting them up here on the channel, and if I know what I'm getting into in any given mission, I think I could probably put on a better show. And I'm probably going to try that with a few series, whether GTA 5 gets thrown into that category, well, I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll have to, like I said, I'm going to spend a little bit of time with it anyway, and see what the game has to offer before really focusing on trying to get anything up here for that game up here on the channel. Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. If you know, who cares if I know what's coming next? You know, there's no real appeal to me for doing the blind playthrough. It just creates often. It creates poor gameplay or mediocre gameplay, and when I look back at my older projects, stuff like Watch Dogs or Thief, where it was really focused on blind playthrough, and even ACU, there was a lot of crap in there that could have been, had I just taken a little more time, gone through missions prior to capturing, understanding all the moving parts. You know, to me, as a gamer, there's an appeal to great gameplay, and you're not going to get that with the blind playthroughs. So I may start to mix that up a little bit here. So for the, I think I kind of glazed over it, but Skyrim, going back to that, I mean, that's been blind and will probably continue to be so, and it will be back at some point here. So those of you that tune in for that, don't go too far. I mean, it will return here at some point. I'll get that series rolling again. That's kind of the long-term project. That's the constant here, the staple here on the channel, right? Inquisition, I scrapped that series. I may get to it at some point. I don't know. I mean, it didn't seem to be performing all that well as far as viewership goes. It didn't seem to be all that popular. I was probably not presenting it in the greatest way. You know, I think the episodes were, even though some people do like the longer episodes, I think the episodes were a little bit too long. I think I probably should have done a lot more editing and trimmed things down and maybe focused a little bit more heavily on action-oriented gameplay rather than all the side work with that game. And I probably was playing it a little bit wrong. I think I should have been bouncing around between the world spaces and the hub, which was at the time Haven, and then eventually Skyhold, bouncing back and forth and traveling to different locations. I think it would have been a lot more natural than just trying to hammer out a grind in one given world space and completing everything in one journey there, you know. So we'll see. I may get to it again. I may try and pick up a Dragon Age series, a much more condensed, much more summarized series at some point in the future here on the channel. I may do it free. I don't know. I'll just kind of focus on the action. I've spent some time with the game recently, and I think well, I'm gonna tack on a clip here at some point within this video, probably near the end of a dragon fight. You know, I started the series. I can play a game called Dragon Age Inquisition, even if I only did 16 or 17 episodes, and not have some sort of dragon fight in there. So I got a dragon fight from Inquisition here somewhere in the video. Keep watching to check that out. I may just simply tack it on at the end. Anything else do I want to discuss? I think I've pretty well touched upon all the current games. Other things that are in my mind, you know, stuff like Sniper Elite 3, I've really been enjoying kind of touching upon that game. It seems like it could be a fun title. I've done a lot of stealth here in the past, you know. There's always seems to be a stealth presence, whether it was Thief or Splinter Cell Conviction, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and most recently Assassin's Creed Unity. Even the Far Cry's, they have an element of stealth layered into their very rich gameplay. And so I thought maybe Sniper Elite 3 would be a good addition here to the channel for that reason alone. The other thing, I have been putting together a few episodes of The Evil Within. There's some stuff is ready to roll. I haven't worked on it in quite a while. In fact, the Skyrim stuff, that I have been holding on to a few episodes, you know. I do have you know, the Skyrim stuff that the next video that releases is like going all the way back like 5 weeks into the past. Yes, so it's like a time travel experience. Yes, I don't even know what that means, but yeah, just be prepared. It's not really coming out fresh. There's a few episodes saved up with Skyrim content, and well, it will come back eventually. Don't worry, people. The Evil Within, yeah, it's not something I got a few episodes together. I don't really want to scrap what I have worked on, but I don't know if there's any place for it here on the channel just yet, you know, especially with GTA 5 on the horizon, getting ready, you know, I'm getting hyped up, I'm getting pumped up to start getting some of that content up here on the channel. Again, I'm not going to rush to it either. You're going to start to see a bit of a shift here as far as that goes. You know, I'm not really competing with the big channels or even with the small channels on YouTube at launch of new titles. I don't seem to really compete with them. I don't make the search lists. My videos don't get stacked next to theirs and giving people who are looking for that type of content a choice. So what's the point in me rushing it out, if only to, you know, please you guys? But if you can be a little bit patient, I promise when I do say I will get a game up here, I'll at least try. I mean, in the case of Inquisition, that was only partly true. I did try, but it didn't quite last, you know. And I hate doing that. When I start something on the channel, I hate scrapping the series. But the other reason was I think I just got too much. I got too much going all at once there. I had ACU and Far Cry 4 and Skyrim and Inquisition all running at the same time, and there was certainly a downfall to that, and that was the fact that the shorter series, stuff like ACU and Far Cry 4, should have, you know, they really got stretched out over a longer space of time, to the point where I don't know if many people are really interested in that content anymore. Far Cry 4 seems to be doing okay. I think people are still enjoying that. You know, and that's one of the series that, despite that mediocrity that I've been speaking of with blind playthroughs, Far Cry 4 has actually been turning out okay. A lot of the gameplay has been pretty solid. You know, it's not always great, but it's not always mediocre either, right? So there we go. You can expect to see GTA 5. You'll expect to see Skyrim return. If Inquisition comes back, it will come back in a new form. But that one series is currently scrapped. It has been thrown under the bus. And ACU wrapping, Far Cry 4 wrapping in a few weeks. Hurt's back. I will continue to do this for as long as I feel like I can. And I appreciate the ongoing support, everyone. So, oh, one more thing I should mention. I do have a new graphics card coming in. Hopefully I get a shot of it up here on the channel or in this video. The GTX 974GB MSI is the brand. That should match up well with my MSI motherboard. And so I'm looking forward. That's certainly an upgrade over my current GTX 762GB graphics card GPU. So, hopefully that will help bring me a little bit closer towards that stable 60 frames per second for you know, GTA 5 and Skyrim and other games like that, you know. Here's hoping I get a good card as well. I'm well aware, for those of you that are perhaps a little bit more tech-minded and are aware of such things, that the GTX 970s, they do suffer from. Well, the architecture of them was a little off, a little wonky. I think that 4 gigs of VRAM, you can only really use 3.5 gigs of that VRAM efficiently, and often if I've read reviews and reports that of people who, when that 3.5 gigabytes of VRAM is exceeded, it causes problems, whether it be stuttering or game crashes. I think it only happens for a few unoptimized games and for users who are trying to play with multiple monitors or who are playing at 4K resolution. I'm only playing at 1080p, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal for me. Anyway, I'm excited. That's on the way. Witcher 3, I'm getting that free with that purchase. So you could still see, I mean, despite the fact that Inquisition, that playthrough, that LP kind of fell flat on its face here on the channel, you may still see me get to the Witcher 2, Witcher 3 1-2 combo before, you know, at some point over the next few months. Beyond that, I don't know. I can't really say. No commitments, not even for the few that I mentioned, like Sniper Elite 3 and The Evil Within. I may get to it, I may not. We'll see. Appreciate the ongoing support. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate all the love in the comments and the messages that came my way. Keep tuning in. Keep watching, and I'll keep hammering these out for as long as I can. Until next time, all, remember, Wyatt hurts. Yes. Later.
Hey you have time? It's not a question, let's go. I've got something I want to do for you. Just come.
With you, I'll do anything.
I bet, yeah. Come on, let's do it. Okay, setting traps for dragons. Why not?
Boss, I want you to know, you're the best.
An impressive creature. There is a purity in such undiluted power.